Hey there, this is about an article I read in the Wall Street Journal. I've only been reading the Wall Street Journal for about 2 weeks now. But there's an article about this Qatari poet sentenced to life in prison because of a poem he wrote. He was recorded reciting to a bunch of his friends, and then they uploaded the video somebody did without his consent to YouTube. And then I think that's how the royal family found out about it. One of his members deemed it as insulting and disrespectful, and they accused him of inciting to overthrow the regime, which, this is it's considered rich country. I think it's kind of like Bahrain, which I was talking to a Bahrainian guy who worked for an oil company, and he said like people over there get like $10,000 a month, like each, like you don't have to do anything, just off of the oil money you get a share of it. The government tries to appease the citizens, in order to like them not to be desperate and have to like steal stuff and shit, and stealing stuff is punished by like chopping your hand off or something like that. But yeah, it turns out that he's been in solitary confinement since November of 2011 when he was first apprehended, and his name is Mohammed Ibn Al-Dib Al-Ajami, and he's got a lawyer, and his lawyer is trying to appeal the decision, because life in prison for a freaking poem that's like overtly harsh. It's like unimaginably harsh. But yeah, this is over there. The governments over there, at least in that country, seem to have like an iron fist when it comes to the people. They seem to have an iron fist, and that's like one of the countries that is backed by the United States and like all these other European powers. Just like Saudi Arabia, which is considered to be the most extreme out of the Islamic countries. But yeah, the royal family loves funding uprisings in Syria and Libya, among other parts of the world. But they don't have too much respect for an uprising there in their country, and them being overthrown. But yeah, they do seem to like arm the Syrian rebels and stuff like that, like finance them. So yeah, and then the United Arab Emirates, a country that's like right next to one of its neighbors, it's also cracking down on dissent, and the social media, by passing new laws in order to prosecute people who are inciting or at least hinting towards regime change or trying to overthrow the regimes over there and stuff. And this makes me think, because if I were in one of those countries, and I've been in situations like that, even here where I live now, sometimes people just accept when you're born, you come into this earth, and then sometimes people just accept the rules that they're told to abide by. But sometimes those fucking rules like are a bunch of bullshit. So you're just gonna have to like bend the rules or remove them altogether. Because if I was in that country, and I know they might be pretty harsh. I don't know if they like, if I keep like disobeying and stuff, they might even like throw me in jail for life or like execute me or some shit. Even though it doesn't say like he's gonna be executed, but that's prison. Life in prison is pretty harsh. But maybe this is not like the norm. This is just like one isolated case. Like maybe not all the cases are this extreme. And I'm trying to gauge the situation here. But yeah, if I was in that country, I would be thinking to myself, me and those fucking royal princes that are ruling this country, we're both born into this earth, You know, we didn't have anything before. So what the fuck gives you the right to legislate and rule and set rules, over my life, and like tell me how to do things, how not to do things, and everything else? Like, what gave you the right to have, the power that you have? I know, like, he was probably born into an influential family and stuff like that, right? But let's say I was just like a peasant with no clout. But yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, just because he was born around, being relative to some people who do have some power, and then the people that do it, his relatives were, same happened to him. They were born like around people who are powerful. But I mean, seriously, like, you don't really have to listen to them. I mean, of course, they're gonna threaten with consequences and shit, but you don't really have to listen to them because it's just their word over. What I'm trying to say is, like, don't convince yourself that they have like more moral authority than you do. You don't have to listen to whatever the fuck regulations they implement. You can just do as you like. Well, of course, like, don't go around like trying to kill people and shit, right? Because the people might turn around and do the same back to you. But this is ridiculous. Like, trying to, that they want to control what religion you're from, and like what you can say. Like, there's no freedom of speech and stuff, and there's like fucked up aspects of this country too, like the United States of America, but over there I think it's, I don't know, it's like different aspects of, they're fucked up in like a different way. But yeah, just don't listen to him. Like, he has not any more of a right to like order people around, to set rules, than you do, because you're both born, like, came into this earth and stuff, and like they only, those rules only exist just because they say they do, just because they want to implement them. Maybe they have like military power and shit, but I don't know. I think if I did get fed up with it, if they were gonna throw me in jail, I would have already fucking sprayed those motherfuckers in the freaking police station or whatever, the military headquarters. I would have sprayed them with like AK-47 bullets or some shit. I would have probably lost it. Just think about it. And he has no more. He doesn't have any more of a right to, tell you what to do. You have the same right to tell him what to do, to like set rules for him and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all I wanted to tell you about. But yeah, I'll provide. I'll try to look for an article on the internet so I can provide a link about this story. I put Qatari poet. Yeah. All right. So later. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let me see what you think. All right. Bye.